A very pleasant good evening to you as we welcome you inside the Tower Grill on the campus of Arizona Christian University for the Storm Report, season number 3, episode number 13. I'm your program host, Kevin Derryberry, and joining us here on the main stage, here's my broadcast partner for AC Football is my co-host. That is Edward Cole. Edward Cole is here tonight. On the program, we'll have Paul Hayden and Anthony Howell. You see both of those two gentlemen here centered at the table. We'll also be talking a little track and field with ACU men's and women's track coach Brian Bell will join us here in our second segment, and we'll talk a little round ball with the ladies as Rusty Rogers' team up to 7 wins in the early stages of the campaign for ACU women's basketball. So we'll speak with Haley Payne and Kayla Clark. Hallie Payne, there you go. My pronunciation guide right there, and I see it, Hallie Payne, so thank you so much. We look forward to seeing these ladies. But first and foremost, Ed, welcome to the show, and Anthony Howell, welcome. Paulie, good to have you back, my friend.
It's good to be back.
Congratulations, number 5 in the country, 7-1. How's the start to your season, Paul?
It's been good. We've figured a lot of things out. We're coming together as a team every day in practice. We're getting after it. So I like where we're sitting right now, and I like how we're progressing.
Yeah, individually speaking, congratulations to you coming out of the zone after your performance on Saturday. 7 for 7 from distance, 10 for 10 from the floor. 27 points, I believe that's too shy from your career high? Or
too shy, yeah.
Yeah, 29 is your career high. So, but outstanding accomplishment for you in that big win for ACU. And then you get some accolades for that most recently, within the last couple hours. Named the Golden State Athletic Conference Player of the Week for your performance in that win. Have a day, as they say, Paul.
Yep. Yeah, it was fun. It's just a blessing to be able to play on this team and just be able to go out there and play free and just celebrate with my teammates. Because we've had a number of guys who have had big games like that over the course of the first 8 games, so it's just fun to be out there.
And Paul, when it's working like that, are you asking for the basketball, or are your teammates kind of looking at you? They know that you're on a hot streak and everything's going well for you. Do you say, hey, feed me the ball, or it just it came naturally that night that you were able to get 10 shots off and you made all 10 of them, 7 of course being from 3?
Yeah, it just comes naturally, honestly. Like none of the shots I took were out of the flow of our offense. It's just we've been working hard and getting that aspect of the game and of the team down together. So it just comes in the flow. If they're open, I'm going to shoot them. If someone else is open, they're going to shoot them, and we trust each other enough to go out there and do what we've been practicing all year. So it was nothing out of the offense. So, yeah.
Throughout the course of a practice, how often do you work on threes as opposed to everything else you do as far as your game in a certain practice?
Oh, well, we cover everything. So I'm shooting threes every day. I'm working on post up stuff. I'm working on face up stuff, and then we try to add skills that we need to work on. So we work on everything, and it was just how it went the other night that 7 of my 10 shots were threes. That's just what was open, what the defense was giving. And so whatever is open, we trust any of our guys to step in and make it, because we work on everything every day. So it's a great system we have, and it's working for us.
Ed, the young man to your right is from Youngstown, Ohio. That is Anthony Howell. And for whatever reason, somehow or another, we've come to call Anthony Bill. And so I'm curious how we get Bill out of Tony and Howell. So elaborate on that, if you would, AT.
So we already got an Anthony on the team, so I kind of just let him have that. He can be Anthony, that's fine. And it's kind of like sometimes I say it and people can't understand me or can't hear me, so I just feel like saying Bill would be easier, and that's real easy to hear, easy to say. Everybody can say it, you know what I mean?
Of all names, Bill.
Yeah, it's a business thing.
No one's messed up Bill yet.
Not yet.
That's true, yeah.
Bill Howell. A little different.
That's fine.
I like Anthony. And as I mentioned before the show started, I'm going to call you Mr. Howell just because of your performance. 8.9 points a ball game. In fact, I think you're shooting right around 75%, just slightly a tick under that. But that's tops in the Golden State Athletic Conference in field goal percentage. So congratulations to you,
Thank you
on your swift start here.
I appreciate it.
How are you feeling?
At first it was adjustment coming from my JUCO. Playing around great players there, but everybody's really good here, so a lot of people can do a lot more things, and I just want to make it easier for these guys. So it was an adjustment, but I think I'm coming around the mountain now. So,
in terms of the strength of your game, what would you say that is? What's the best part of your game, in your opinion?
So if you ask anybody else that, they're going to say I'm pass first. So I like to get my teammates open shots, easy shots, so they don't have to like do too much. Like, for example, Paul going 10 for 10. You know what I mean? None of those shots were too crazy, all in the offense. But I can post. I play on the post. I do that really good. And then just passing. I'd say those two are my main things that I'm known for, at least.
Tough, smart, unselfish. I think that's the mantra of Coach Rudder. So, Ed?
Bill, you must have been reading my mind because I was going to ask you about assists. So 32 made shots. You had 24 assists. As impressive as the 61% in Paul's night and everybody else's night and the 21-point victory, the fact that you were able to distribute the ball as well as you did that night against Northern New Mexico. Talk about the importance of, as you mentioned, feeding your guys and finding guys open in the right spaces and getting them good open looks.
Yeah, like I said, these guys are really good. They do a lot of things. Shoot it really well. We got guys that slash really well. So I just want to put people in position to get easy buckets, you know. And then when you passing and everybody is expecting the ball, it makes the game fun. So everybody plays. Just really fun out there, trying to move it around and get everybody touches.
I'll ask you both the same question. How much fun did you have on the road trip? Obviously, the team suffered its first defeat against Union, but outside of that, did you enjoy the time on the roadie, and did you learn anything?
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun to go on the road. That's one of the best parts about being part of a team, and just being able to hang out with the guys outside of school setting and outside of like any normal type of life. And so just the friendships we build and all that, it's priceless. So it was really fun. But yeah, we definitely learned a lot from that loss, and like reflecting on it after, we're glad that it came this early. We would hate for us to get towards the end of our season and not have learned certain lessons that we learned from that, because at that point it might have been too late. Mm-hmm. So we definitely learned a lot, and we're already taking steps and strides and going the right direction from that. But yeah, it was a great learning point, and we're stronger because of it.
I'd asked the fellas a couple weeks back what it was like having Kevon coach everybody. Obviously, Mr. Howell didn't have the pleasure to play with Kevon, but he probably knows the aura of Kevon Williams-Key, the most wins in program history. I think he's probably right up there with the most games played ever as well. But what's it like having Key coach you guys now, and have you enjoyed that experience?
Key, he's almost like a player, you know what I mean? So he got that perspective. Mm-hmm. He's really smart too as well. Like I said, I never played with him, but I can just tell like what type of player he was. I watched a lot of film on him and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And then like I said, he just give us that different perspective that other coaches might not have, or it's just better from him because he was here last year literally. So mm-hmm. It's just, I feel like he's been a big help.
Been here the last, count him up, 5 years.
Yeah.
I think he's a historian. At one point, the longest tenured player at ASU. You might have that now, Paul. I'm not sure.
No, not yet.
Tim could point that out.
4 years?
4 years. Yeah. That's all right, though. Ed?
So, Bill, I want to ask you about your high school and your time at San Diego City College. You won. You like that, Kevin?
It just cracks.
He wants to be called Bill, so I'm calling him Bill.
That's fine.
See, he's fine with
me Bill.
So, Bill, Let me stop. So you won 3 district titles at Ursuline. You went really in your one season. You went undefeated at San Diego City College. Those experiences in high school and college before you got here, how did that prepare you to come to a nationally ranked team such as the Firestorm and get prepared because you've already had success before you even got here?
Oh yeah, playing in top programs, it's really like you got top players, and then the standards are the same. So you come in, you know what's expected, and then it just translates. I think once the transition point is over, I feel like at the end of the day we're playing basketball. So it's the same no matter what level you're at. You just got to do certain things that some other teams might not do. So I'm used to being on winning teams, so I think I know what it takes to win. So with that being said, all these guys have been successful as well. So we have a really good team. So I just feel like it's just translating. So, like, I'm expected to do this. I do what I'm expected to do. These guys are expected to do some things, and that's what makes a team. So I feel like we can do some really good things in the future.
This one's for Ant. I'm curious, when you I thought you were going to throw me a bone right there, Ed, when we were speaking to Ant. What was my point? I had a good question for you, Ant. I really did. It'll come to me in a second. Let me switch gears. I'm going to go to Paul. It's all about the ladies
it'll come back to you.
It's all about the ladies in your life. I'll get back to you on that one, Ant. The ladies in your life, Paul, congratulations. You're a married man now.
Yes, sir.
Janica is your lovely bride. And, of course, you probably wouldn't be here without the Sharon Hayden in your life. So special shout-out to Mom. We know she's watching tonight.
Shout out, Mom.
And always, you got to have that support at home. So if you would, talk a little bit about the support that you have at home.
Oh, well, I mean, even growing up, like, my mom was my biggest supporter. And even my grandma, too, and my uncle. I mean, they would come to every game. They'd support me in every way. My mom would sacrifice so much to make sure I'm doing what I need to do and to allow me to play this game and AAU and all that type of stuff, driving me places. But she'd also make sure I was on my grades and all that because she'd be quick to take away the basketball from that. But I just had the greatest support group growing up. And then my wife being the greatest supporter now on a day-to-day basis for everything.
Mrs. Hayden.
Mrs. Hayden, yeah. Mrs. Hayden's a great supporter. But, yeah, it's just been incredible. I've been extremely blessed to come from a background like that and even now to experience it every day of my life with Mrs. Hayden. So it makes all the difference. It allows me to go out and do what I need to do and what I'm expected to do, knowing that regardless of my performance, I'm loved and supported.
That's what it's all about. You picked the right one. Congratulations to you.
That is beautiful.
The question I did have for you was going to be, wasn't as serious as the one from Paul, but Youngstown, Ohio, does that mean we go all Ohio State? Is it Browns, LeBron? Like where do we, Cavs? Like where do we differentiate, or is it all? Do we hit them all?
So I'm a little different. I love LeBron first and foremost.
All right.
Yeah, that's my guy. So shout out Bron. You know what I mean. But I'm not a Cleveland fan. I'm not a Browns fan.
Okay.
Yeah, they.
Guardians either, right? Done.
No Guardians?
I like the Guardians.
Okay.
Yeah, I like them. But I like the Nuggets, Denver Nuggets. That's my basketball team. And then some Sundays I like the Falcons. You know what I mean?
Some Sundays.
Yeah, some Sundays.
Did you like them on Sunday when they beat the Jets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like them a lot.
Man,
That was a rough one.
Arthur
was.
Smith.
Ooh,
we gotta
13 to
talk
8.
Got
about
it done.
And they got it done, but there's other ways to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, it ain't always pretty. You know what I mean?
It hasn't been pretty.
He is a little Jokic like.
I figured.
Oh.
Well,
the court.
now, are we, and I missed a couple games, granted, but I thought I saw a little bit of the pick and roll in the Rocky Mountain contest, just a little bit of an unveiling of that. Maybe I missed that. Is that something that's part of the game for you, Anthony?
Definitely. I get the ball, get touches around the hoop. I figure the least thing I can do is put the ball in the rim. You know what I mean? Because I got guys around me that's going to shoot. Paul going 7 for 7, great example. they do their job, and I do my job. You know what I mean?
Anthony's being a little humble here because he's at one point he was 14 for 14. He had a stretch of 2 games where he was 14 for 14. I already mentioned it, but it does bear with repeating. He's the leading field goal percentage in the GSAC conference. So, yeah, you're putting the ball in the bucket, I would say.
Yeah,
Cole?
I figured that's my job. So,
And then the game after that, Kevin, he went 5 for 6. So you say, what, 19 of 20? And then the game after that, he went 2 for 2. So was that 21 of 22 in like 5 games? Quick math.
For those of you in super quick math.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Speaking of being studious and academics, some background, folks. So every time we do a show, PH comes in here because he's studying. Study hall every single Monday. Are you here every single day, PH? Outside of when we do the show?
Well, I lead a Bible study on Monday nights at 7, so a little bit after this. But
Okay.
yeah, we're here every Monday getting into it. So, yeah. Studying comes before that. Got to be prepared. But, yeah, we're in here every Monday.
Yeah, 2 different types of study.
Yeah.
Academic study and then Bible study.
Mm-hmm.
Quick one. Can you guys say the name of your next opponent? Anthony.
Yeah, please say it.
I still got to check the scout. So,
I think it's pronounced
Multnomah?
Multnomah.
we're going to go with it.
I was asking the fellas.
Multnomah?
Multnomah?
Multnomah.
Multnomah?
Multnomah?
Multnomah.
Multnomah.
They're from Portland, Oregon. I know that.
We got to figure this out. We got a ball game
Multnomah.
this Thursday. We want to encourage everybody to come out to the event center on campus. ACU, number 5 in the country, will take on Multnomah. And we look forward to Anthony Howell will be on the main stage, as well as Paul Hayden, the GSAC Player of the Week. And I'm going to just say, I'm going to go on a limb here. Hopefully within the next few hours or tomorrow, we'll find out tomorrow that the NAIA National Player of the Week will be Paul Hayden. I mean, I don't know what you got to do. 10 for 10, 27 points.
Give it to him already.
7 for 7 from distance. That's pretty legit. Ant, appreciate you. Bill,
Appreciate
Anthony
y'all.
Howell.
Thanks, Bill.
And
Thank you.
Paulie Hayden.
Thanks,
Thank
Paul.
you
Thank you,
guys.
Appreciate
We're going
it.
to turn it to the track scene right after this, and we're going to speak with Coach Brian Bell on the Storm Report right after this. Storm Report. I'm Kevin Derryberry. That's Ed Cole, and joining us on the main stage is head coach Brian Bell. Coach Bell has been on campus for, I think, 4 seasons now, and he's been at the helm of the men's and women's track and field program most recently this year. So, Coach Bell, welcome to the program. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. How are things going for you? You've been around campus, so you're familiar with how things were done, but how have you been able to kind of contour your approach and your culture approach here with this young program?
You know, it's exceeded any expectations I had. We had a great recruiting class. We got a great group of young people, a lot of freshmen, a lot of D1 JUCO transfers, and about 6 or 7 returners. So we're really collectively creating a new culture, a culture of excellence and family, and it's gone beyond what I had hoped. Yeah.
Some of the new people that you brought into the program, is this part of your recruiting endeavors, your staff,
Yes.
people that have been here before you? Or
You know, it was a combination of things. I was primarily recruiting last spring, along with coaching. So a lot of young athletes that I helped recruit here, some that the previous coach had brought in, and then some that our assistant coaches had brought over as well. So that's really for us the sweet spot is building relationships with great coaches in the Valley and other states in the Southwest and recruiting their athletes here.
you hear it so many times, Ed, right, Coach Bell, that you surround yourself with the quality people, right? And it just pays dividends.
Yeah.
Here you go again.
Yes. Yeah.
Ed.
Semper Fi, double dog.
Yes, Semper Fi.
Thank you for your service.
Great to meet you.
That's how
Thank you.
Marines talk to each other.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
If you didn't know. It was so good to find out on the bio. I'm talking to a fellow Marine. But, Coach, your 3 years, you were here before you got elevated to the head coaching position. Those 3 years, how did that prepare you for eventually becoming the head man on both sides, on the men's and women's side?
Yeah. A couple ways. One, it really, I think, highlighted for me the importance of building relationships with the athletes. That I believe that your relationship with the athlete is the most important thing you do as a head coach, or really as a coach in general. Before we can ask them to do hard things, before we can set our expectations, you've got to have some type of relational equity with them. And so I think the last 3 years really taught me the importance of building good relationships built on mutual trust and respect. And then from that, we've been able to do some great things. And then honestly, last year I got to spend a lot of time doing the recruiting, the ops side of things, which is I call it the sausage making of coaching that nobody knows or coaches know about, but everybody else thinks coaching is just, having the headset or the clipboard and telling people what to do. And it's much more than that. So last year really helped prepare me, I think, on the logistics, operations, recruiting side of things to be a coach. So yeah, I'm grateful that for the experiences up to this point. Yeah.
Kevin, let me piggyback off of Coach. So you've got 2 different teams, obviously a lot of different personalities, different athletes that do a lot of different things. How do you coach that up? Do you coach players individually based on their skill sets and what they're able to do when it comes as far as the meet is concerned, or do you do a general coaching of the team? How does that work when you've got so many young men and young women that do a lot of different things?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I've got a staff of assistant coaches they're event coaches. So I've got a great assistant coach, Manuel Williams, that coaches the sprints and the relays and the horizontal jumps. So if somebody's a sprinter, a long jumper, one of the relays, he coaches them in their specific events. Got another coach, Brenton Couch, who's on staff here at the university, that's a hurdles coach, a multi-coach, so high jumps, pole vault, those types of things. So there's certain things that our assistant coaches help coach those specific areas. We've got some athletes that are such great athletes that they have some overlap, that, hey, this guy's a great sprinter, but he's also strong and can pole vault. Or this guy, most of our throwers are just throwers because they're big, strong guys, kind of like linemen in football. But everybody else we try and find, especially in the NAIA, is training to be a great athlete, and then find 2 or 3 events that you can really excel at. And then for me as a head coach, for me it's more culture, tone, motivation, getting them motivated and excited about what we're doing, helping them see the larger vision of what we're trying to accomplish as a program and moving them in that direction. Yeah.
Coach Bell, a couple things. I'm going to go circle back. Not a lot of people know how to make a really, really good sausage, so we totally appreciate your idea right there.
You got that right.
There's a lot of special ingredients that go into that, especially if you want a really good one. And we can fake it, right? But if you want a really good sausage, we got to get the proper ingredients.
Payne's like, yeah.
But Coach, what were some of the events that you starred in, if you will, growing up, and what was your influence to get into this sport?
Yeah, so I grew up in the Willamette Valley, just out in between Eugene and Portland. So, track country USA in the 70s and 80s. And so at about 9 years old, my parents, they had a summer program. I think it was just so my mom could get a break from my brother and I, Salem Track Club, and she'd drop us off every day, and we'd go to this track club as young guys. And
not the bowling alley, not the ice skating rink, not the football field, but she dropped off
the track.
Was there a reason that she dropped you off there versus one of the other clubs or facilities?
I think it was a summer track program, and it was close to where my dad worked. So I think it was probably like drop the boys off, go have lunch with my dad.
There's always a vision there for the parents.
Yes.
Convenience. Convenience was a part of that vision.
Yeah, free childcare became my career.
Absolutely.
But as a 9-year-old boy, I just fell in love with the sport because there are so many different things to do, and so these college kids would train us during the week, and then on Wednesday nights they'd have a track meet, and you'd go, and they'd make you sign up for 3 different types of events. You had to do a distance event, a sprinting event, and like a throwing or a high jump. So my brother and I got to do all these different track and field events as young kids, and I just thought, what a great sport. And then a few years later, the '84 Olympics in Los Angeles occurred.
Big. Yes.
And so I'm watching this unfold in front of my eyes as a freshman in high school, and I said, wow, this is, I loved all sports. I was a Larry Bird Celtics fan. I loved baseball. In fact, I thought I was going to be the next second baseman for the Dodgers, but they never called. So track and field became my sport. And I really excelled in what we call mid-distance, 800 meters to 1,500 meters, and later in life became a distance runner.
Coach, do you notice when you said Los Angeles Dodgers, his eyes lit up?
Oh, yeah.
I noticed it.
Bakersfield guy, LA guy.
Oh, yeah.
That's just.
I was going to be Steve Sax's replacement when he aged out.
He couldn't throw he couldn't throw the baseball to first base. So that was Saxy.
He was still great though.
Won a ring in '88 with that team. So we don't talk about that enough. But you know what? You just derailed me with the Dodger conversation.
Okay, let me ask him a question.
I'm going to go back to the '84 Olympics for a second.
Okay. Yeah.
We're talking about revolutionary games, right? Transcending names. Carl Lewis, Edwin Moses. I think anybody that was just following any kind of sports, but you were engaged to the Olympics. This is when we didn't have a lot of the zaniness that we do in today's society. It was just competition, pure and simple, raw. Maybe there was cheating going on. I'm sure there was back then, but it wasn't like it's as profound as it is now with all the doping and whatnot in different sports. But that was a coming out party for track and field, was it not?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, great and excited. And I think it created a generation of track and field athletes, particularly on the ladies' side. I think men who are athletic, most guys I know, they were played football in high school, and the football coach was also the track coach, and so they had a background in track and field. But I think the '84 Olympics really highlighted to a generation of young women. I mean, Joan Benoit Samuelson was the first American to win the marathon. You had Flo Jo. I mean, it was, I think a lot of young women were like, okay, track and field is something I should check into. Jackie Joyner-Kersee, yes, absolutely.
Tons of incredible names. Coach, my last one for you. The track team most recently had a chance to compete at the holiday preview, and you, both sides, your student athletes, turned in record-breaking performances. Congratulations on your success as a coach as well as your staff, but then individually speaking, some of our student athletes really turned in some top-notch performances.
Yeah, we were the whole coaching staff and myself were just thrilled. I mean, it was I told the athletes we had 3 goals, which was to show up on time in the right uniform and figure out how to get checked in to their event at a college track and field meet. And if we did that, that would be success for December 2nd meet. We don't normally compete this early in the year, but 80% of our team is new, so I said let's do an early meet and just see what we got. And what we got is a really talented, terrific group of young people. I mean, we had Jeremiah Smith set the school record in the shot put and qualified to go to nationals in December, which is just crazy.
He's already qualified for nationals.
Yeah, already hit the A standard, which is the highest.
Wow,
congratulations.
Drew Gertenrich threw the discus, the second furthest has ever been thrown in a university, and he was our conference champ last year, so he had a personal best, set another record. Several of the ladies cracked inside the top 10. Yeah. McKenna Rogers, Jade Roberts, so Rachel Ply with the discus. So we just had a great first meet. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a great first meet. We're excited. We'll be on the road Thursday on our way to the Air Force Academy to compete Friday. So it's a great start to the season.
You're going to go to some gorgeous country.
Yeah,
heading up there.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, Coach. It's kind of a short week for you guys. As you mentioned, you got to get to Colorado, and but yeah, you've got to be encouraged by the performance that your young men and young ladies did just a couple of days ago to get you ready for December 8th, and then for the rest of the season as far as your other meets are concerned. That's a great way to kick it off with young ladies and young men setting personal records and ACU records. That's got to be a heck of a start.
Yeah, we're we're really excited about it, and more, to me. More importantly, is they're just a great group of young women and men that I really enjoy being around, and they like each other. So it's just a great team vibe. They really make it fun. They make me laugh, and something about when you have that great chemistry and it's loose and it's fun, that excellence is just a byproduct.
How does a fine gentleman from the Northwest, from the Oregon area, become a Dodger fan?
Because I was from the Northwest, and the only other team up there was the Mariners, and so nobody was a Mariners fan in the 70s and 80s.
Right.
Dodgers. Dodgers.
You mentioned Sacks, but
yeah. You know what? I love the Dodgers. They were a West Coast team, so it seemed like they were always on TV. I love the uniform, and then just the history. I mean, Jackie Robinson is one of my heroes,
sure.
and then they just had this string of year after year having the Rookie of the Year, and I was a second baseman in high school, so Steve Sachs. Although the joke with Steve Sachs was what does Steve Sachs and Michael Jackson have in common? And it was that they both wore a glove and nobody knew why.
I mean, that's just rough for Saxon. That's just rough for CeeLo. But I like to ask Dodger questions every now and then because Tim Gostin, our SID here, is about as big as an Angel fan as you could be. And we all know there's only one team in Southern California. And so we just like to give it to him a little bit when we can.
Wow,
and
Tim.
Shohei Ohtani's about ready to leave Orange County to head up. Head up the road a little bit. So maybe, allegedly. I don't know. But Toronto says they're in. The Giants think they're in.
Okay.
Everybody thinks they're in.
Yeah.
Coach Bell, it's been our pleasure having you on the program. And we're glad things are starting out so well for you and your student athletes. And we wish you nothing but success going forward.
Great. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Coach Brian Bell,
thank you, Double Dog.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to talk a little ladies round ball. Rusty Rogers' team, 7 wins already for ACU. We're going to talk with Miss Payne and Miss Clark straight ahead on the Storm Report. Don't go away.
Welcome back to the Storm Report. Lots of changes in the break. Kevin Derryberry had to run off to another assignment, and so I get to join in on the set and be here for the third segment, and we get to talk a little women's basketball, and we're joined by Haley Payne, and Kayla Clark, and thank you, Hallie. Why did I get this wrong? Hallie Payne, and Kayla Clark. That's who's on the show with us. We're talking women's basketball, 7-2 start, and you guys had a little bit of we'll just call it an easy game on this past weekend. A game that you won by 51 in a team where they only had 5 players. So when you're going into a game like that, and you kind of know the scouting report, you've seen they only have 5 or 6 on the roster, and then they only dress 5 for the game, you have to kind of go, all right, well, this will be a game where everybody kind of gets some minutes and gets some time. So when you're going to a game like that, how do you address that game, that mindset?
Hopefully our mindset doesn't change. I mean, it's hard not to, but we just have to be ready to play. I mean, you never know. They could be the best 5 players we've ever seen, so you never know. But I think just keeping our mindset, and then if we do get a lead, working on stuff that we've struggled on, trying to go through our offense and our options and working on defensive stuff that we've struggled with in the past.
Kayla, how about you?
I just think it's important we do get that quick lead, and like she said, run through the things that we run through in practice, and then hopefully everybody gets in and we can see what potential we have on the bench and on the court.
Well, lots of people got in and got lots of time and lots of minutes, and the good news is you get to play them again here just in about 13 days from when you played them, and that will be next down at their place, however, so it'll be a road game for you, but you probably know what you're kind of going into. Obviously, again, the same kind of mindset. It's an easy game in the middle of the season where, again, everybody should get some time. What are you going to take from that game when you go into that game coming up on the 14th, when you know that you've played them just 13 days before and you're going to face them again? Are you going to change your mindset, or is there something specific you're going to work on? What are you going to try to do in that time frame?
I mean, I think we still, we had a good win, but we definitely still had things we had to work on. We were getting beat to the basket, so we just need to work on staying in front no matter who we're playing. And I think that's, like she said, our mindset should never change. Like going into that, okay, they have 5 players, they might not be the best, but we can't downplay them and then get out there and not perform to the best of our ability. So we definitely need to work on our defense.
All right, Ed?
Kayla, we talked to the fellas about the importance of assists, moving the ball around, finding the ball, finding an open lady, and making sure she knocks down the shot. You had 25 assists on 39 made shots. That's pretty important to be able to spread the ball around like that. Talk about getting everybody involved in the game, because everybody on this roster, with the exception of a few, scored.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's just super important. A lot of people put their emphasis on scoring, whereas me personally, I just want to make the rest of my team better and get them open shots, get them open looks, and move the ball around and making our offense look better. That honestly makes me happier than scoring a bucket. So, yeah. And
then getting 53 points off your bench. The young ladies that come off, there is no slippage in energy from the starters to the reserves, right?
Yep. Yeah, they did great. And like we said, we want them to be ready to shoot the ball, and me as well as other people are looking to hit them. So it's just important that they're ready to go off the bench and ready to hit their shots, and they did great.
All right, so Ms. Payne, you're third on the team, 13.4 points per game, and you're second on the team in rebounds. You're having yourself quite the season. What do you like so far that you've seen that you've been able to produce this year in your second year with the Firestorm?
I think I just played with a lot more confidence this year, personally and in my team. I think we got last year coming in as a transfer, it was kind of hard to find my place, and I didn't want to step on toes and I didn't want to do too much and stuff. But now that we've played together a year, I think that we're fluid and we're playing well. I mean, my guards are looking for me. I'm where they want me to be, and I'm just knocking down the shots that they're giving me. So,
Kayla, second year for you as well. Both of you transferring into the program after a year at a different school, and so you're leading the team, or tied for the team lead with assists. You talked about finding your teammates. How do you think that's going so far, 9 games into your season?
I think it's going pretty good. With the offenses he gives us, it does open up a lot of lanes, and then from there, help's going to come over. So, there are opportunities to get those assists. Yeah, and like she said, coming in as a transfer, you're kind of unsure, and you don't want to, like she said, step on any toes. So I think definitely this second year, you're more comfortable and more confident going into it. As
you approach the end of your semester, you're getting into the This is the final week of classes here before finals hit next week, and this is a kind of a time of year where coaches usually don't schedule games. So, for both of you, how are you handling the end of the semester? Finals come in, any last minute papers, any of that kind of stuff? How are you handling the end of the semester? And then what are you doing when you only really have a handful of games here in the month of December?
Semester's good. You know how it is. Procrastination gets you at the worst times, but
Yes.
So far so good. I hate not having games. I mean, it's a good time to work on the stuff we need to work on, but not having a game for that long is like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to play again. But I think when we open up with Justice again, it'll be a good game to kind of knock the cobwebs off and kind of get going before we play 4 games in 7 days.
So when you have that time off like that, when you've got a couple of weeks in between games, what do you do to keep yourself mentally? I'll start with you, Kayla. What do you do to keep yourself mentally and physically still engaged in the game of basketball, knowing, wow, it's going to be at least 2 weeks before we play again. I've got to do something to keep my strength and keep my mind ready for basketball when it comes back around.
I think it's easy to kind of go into practice with a different mindset and be like, oh, we don't play for almost 2 weeks. Like, I don't need to try as hard, and that's definitely not what we want to do. We want to keep our mindset sharp and go into practice. We still have a bunch of things we have to learn on or work on, and we want to do that before we get into conference. So this is honestly a good break for us to work on our offenses, work on the things we're doing wrong on defense and staying in front of people, and this is a great opportunity for that. So I think as a team we just need to look at it as a good opportunity rather than, everybody wants to play games, but like I said, we just need to take it as an opportunity.
For you personally, in this time off, what do you want to work on as far as your game is concerned? What do you want to up and get better? What are some deficiencies in your game? You're like, okay, this is the time for me. I need to tighten my stuff up and get ready for Justice on the 14th.
I definitely want to work on my shot. Make sure I'm hitting open shots, that my teammates give me good passes, and I'm not hitting them right now. And also just staying strong in my defense. Like I said, we had some problems with Justice even getting into the paint, so I want to make sure I'm a strong defender and staying in front of my man.
What about you, Ms. Payne?
I think the same. Offensively, I'm going to try to work on extending my range, especially when conference comes. I mean, people know I like to shoot layups. I like to shoot inside of the paint. So when they shut that down, I have to be able to knock down outside shots. And then defensively and in practice, just trying to keep everyone focused, everyone ready to work, and not take days off when it's easy to take days off.
Kayla, we didn't get the question answered about how school's going for you.
Oh, it's going good.
How's that going? Are you stressed about the last 2 weeks, or you're like, I'm good?
Maybe a little bit stressed, but it's going pretty good this semester.
Just a 100-page paper, and you've only typed 2 pages. That's it. Oh, good. No pressure.
No pressure. No.
We were talking as we were walking over from practice. As I went over to get you ladies from practice and walking through the parking lot, we were talking about your time at Thanksgiving, and you got to go home to New Mexico, and then you were here locally in California. You got to see a little. What's that stuff that falls out of the sky? It's not rain. It's white. It's what's that called?
Snow.
Snow.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I don't know what that is. So, so going home, obviously for Thanksgiving, you're going to have a little bit of time as well. A little bit of time off, not much at Christmas time. Are you going to be able to go back to New Mexico?
Yeah, I'll go back. We play GCU the 27th, so I'll have to come back the day after Christmas, but I'll be able to go home. So.
Okay. Kayla, obviously you're pretty much home. So
Yeah. For Christmas, I do go back to Ohio.
Okay.
So I'll get to do that, and then I'll have to come back the day after Christmas too.
Got it. So you get to see a little snow, both of you.
Hopefully.
throw a
Hopefully,
snowball.
yeah, hopefully.
A little bit of snow.
Maybe.
It's Ohio, Kev.
My name's Tim.
Tim.
Yeah, we can't get anybody's name right. It's fine.
Jeez, we're messing up first names. I'm calling him Kevin.
It's the last show of the semester.
Yeah,
We're good.
Senioritis.
Yeah,
This is our form of senioritis.
Okay.
There it is. Holiday-itis is hitting.
Yes.
So
Hey, Kayla, I wanted to ask you, on your bio, it says you're a business major and you plan to own a business. What kind of business? What do you want to do once you graduate? What kind of business do you want to get started?
I'm honestly not 100% sure, but my dad and my mom own a landscaping business in Cave Creek. So my dad's owned a bunch of different businesses, so he's a great resource. And he always said once I graduate, that'll kind of be a project that we work on, whether eventually I do take over that business or start or buy one of my own. So I'm not sure as to what exact business I want, but I do know that I do want to own one and possibly take over the family business one day.
That's cool. Ms. Payne, what do you want to do when you graduate?
So I'm a family studies major. So I think I want to work at a school, and I want to be a school counselor, and then maybe coach basketball eventually. So.
okay. Speaking of basketball, favorite team, both of you. Basketball, NBA, who are we going with?
I like the Lakers.
Lakers from Ohio and New Mexico. All right, okay. Kaylee?
I'd say the Suns, I guess, for NBA.
Okay. Is there a college team besides, of course, ACU? We know that's your favorite college
Of course.
team. Is there a college team that you're like, yep, they're my team?
Not really. I like college basketball. March Madness is like a holiday in my house, so I like all of them.
I'd say probably I root for Ohio State, but also watching like Caitlin Clark, that's fun. So Iowa.
Okay. All right. Ed, how about you? Favorite basketball team?
Oh, I guess it would be the Suns. Being from D.C., I would say the Wizards, but we're terrible. So I'll still rock with the Wizards, even though they're one of the worst teams in the league. So
They're still in the league?
yeah, yeah, we still have a team in D.C.
They have a team and everything still.
Yeah.
Playing? Nice. All right. Well, I got to go Lakers. Being from California, I will say the Lakers. But what sport do you follow outside of basketball? I mean, a lot of times you play basketball, so, I only pay attention to basketball, WNBA, NBA, whatever. Is there a sport that you're like, I'm a diehard, this is my sport, outside of basketball?
Not really. I watched a lot of football growing up, NFL, college football, that sort of stuff, but not like a diehard football fan.
Same for me.
No.
If it's on, I'll watch it, but
Right.
I'm not like, oh my gosh, I need to watch. Unless it's like Ohio State versus Michigan, which we don't really want to talk about that game. But
No, not for the last 3 years.
Probably not as an Ohio State fan.
Yes.
No,
Right.
You don't want to talk about that anymore. So, Christmas time, what's your favorite part of Christmas? Obviously, spending time with family. You're only going to have a small window to be home, both of you, and to maybe do a little traveling. What are you looking forward to the most?
I'd say, like you said, just being around family. Everybody's in Ohio, so I really don't get to see them as often as I want to. And then also, I just love cold weather. So.
And you live in Phoenix. Okay.
Yeah, being with family. My brother gets to come home. Everybody's kind of together for the first time in a long time. And then the tree. I just love the tree. I think that's my favorite part. And snow.
Do you have a snowball with somebody's name on it already?
No.
A roommate that you're frustrated with? No. I just got to make a snowball and throw it at somebody?
Not yet.
No. We make snow angels out here in Arizona, right? No.
Do we?
Sadly, no.
Flagstaff, maybe?
Up north.
Not
Yep.
here, not
You're right,
here.
Payne.
It's all
Not down
good.
here.
All right, ladies. Well, I know you guys have lots to do, and maybe you might even catch some of the into practice. But we appreciate your time. I know it's been quick, and it was just kind of a weird transitioning and a host in the middle of the episode as well. Great success to you. I know you talked about the 4 games in 7 days. You're 7-2 overall as a program to start the year. You got some good teams coming. And actually, I just thought of this. I know some of the teams coming: Concordia, Nebraska, Olivet Nazarene. One of the things that we've had them here before, and one of the things that I've always noticed about teams like that is they do the same thing over and over and over again. As a team, they're very robotic. Like, they do the warm-ups exactly the same way. They do everything the same. What's the tradition? Is there a tradition in the ACU women's program that you feel like you do? Like, we do that all the time, every pregame.
I would say we do the Lord's Prayer. And then we also have our own little team
little chant
type,
thing.
yeah. Yeah, and then we pray, like, whoever starts, they do a little prayer before the game.
So the 5 starters have to pray? Is that what you mean by start?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Really? Is that true?
Yeah.
Like, if you're
Well,
the
it's
starter, you
not.
have to pray?
I mean, we don't have to.
We don't have to, but we
choose
always
to.
always done it.
We come
Tradition.
together and
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I like it. Well, I know those teams will be tough, and we'll probably be there. Payne for sure will be there, and depending upon how the schedule's working out, I'm sure I'll be there for some of that as well. But thanks for your time, ladies, and it's been a show of men's basketball, track, and women's basketball, and it'll be the final show. The next show won't be until January. We'll be back on the air, I believe, probably January 8th would be that date that we're looking at. Not obviously New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, but it'd be the next week. So, ladies, by that point, you could be 12 and 2,
Hopefully.
13, 14, by then, who knows? So, good luck with your season.
Yeah,
good luck
thank you,
with
ladies.
finals.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
everybody that's been on the show, we appreciate you taking the time to watch, learn a little bit more about men's basketball, about track, and about women's basketball. For Kevin Derryberry, who's hopefully driving very fast under the speed limit, as fast as he can, trying to make it his next gig. For Ed on the end, I'm Tim. Have a great rest of your Monday evening, and we'll talk to you again in January. Good night, everybody.
Good night, folks. Thank you, Tim.